salute to Gucci Mane and his team and his wife and his inner circle for being one of the prominent voices, especially in Atlanta. I can't think of too many people who has the influence of a Gucci Mane. So
very few.
For him to be able to say, yo, this is what I've been diagnosed with.
Yes.
I've done the work to understand why my brain is operating the way that it is, why I'm moving the way that I am.
I come from the same blocks y'all come from, the same walks of life. And when you see me identifying with this issue and cause, you might be able to do the same thing.
And it's somebody who's from New York, it's somebody who grew up in the Gucci Mane era, it's somebody who looks at the Jeezys, somebody who looked at the Ludacris's, the T.I.'s, because they all come from that similar era. Gucci Mane was the last person on my personal radar. And I know a lot of people who grew up in different regions of the country feel like, yo, what was his, like, we understand that Atlanta had this movement, but why is he regarded in such high regard, right? And I know it sounds ignorant to anybody who was really tapped in, but I'm just being honest for some of the people that I knew at that time throughout all of this. And for him to do something like this, it clicked for me. It made me understand he has been himself through and through throughout his entire reign in music.
Yes, and it made me debunk all of the Gucci Mane was clone stuff. Not that I ever believed that nonsense.
I did.
Did you really?
Gucci Mane.
You subscribe to that shit?
Avril Lavigne.
All right, Avril Lavigne, they might have a case.
Eminem.
Nah, MM.
There's a lot of dudes.
He just ain't got the blonde in his head no more. That's M.
He was, they was cloned in my head. But now maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just a different personality.
And because he had to be a different person to survive. That's a lot of what I heard in this Breakfast Club interview. Like, I'm glad that I moved away from the hood. Certain songs trigger me. Do you know, remember So Icy? So icy, I'm so icy. You see how I'm smiling? So that song triggers him.
Yeah.
So it brings him back to a time where he was a different person. He was a different animal. He had to do certain things in the streets just to stay alive. And it's like, damn, we calling you a clone. It's like, no, you had to change or you were literally going to drive yourself insane. I gotta salute that.
Nah, for sure. And again, like I said, we don't necessarily do this enough in our culture.
Yeah.
Just be accountable, because he never had to share this information, especially when you got money, influence, and a team. You could always kind of skew the message. You could say, hey, I was just going through a mental health crisis. You could just say, hey, I just wasn't in the right state of mind at that time. But for him to come out and say, yo, I battle schizophrenia every single day. I am diagnosed with schizophrenia, and this is the obstacle that I have. That's a different type that's a new step forward for hip hop. And I don't know if a lot of people really grasp the severity of a Gucci Mane saying, hey guys, I hear voices and I need help at times to kind of keep me on track because I'm dealing with this mental disease.
He speaks about how drugs and stress can alter your brain chemistry. And that's essentially what it does, right? And, you know, where we come from, yo, we was never laced before. Everything is fine. So he felt guilty that this was happening to him. Yo, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I the only person that has to deal with this? Not realizing, like, hey, when you start to take some of these substances, they can change you, right? And when I think about the Kanyes, when I think about the Nicki Minaj's, those are both people who have had episodes and who have taken substances. They both, you know, opened up about it, and I think it's something that we should pay attention to, right? Again, it's very easy to just write someone off as crazy. But a lot of the time, when shout out to Gucci Mane, you're able to kind of pinpoint its origins and kind of where it started, you know?
And I hope, because it's somebody like a Gucci, and I want to say, I can't remember the exact interview, but I heard Gucci talk about the verses with him and Jeezy.
Yeah.
Recently, like you said, he's been doing a lot of press. So I heard him talk about that verses, and I heard him talk about a specific moment of, yo, I was ready to go in there on bullshit. I was ready to go in there, and whatever was gonna happen because me and Jeezy, I ain't fuck with that nigga, he ain't fuck with me, but we was gonna take this stage and do whatever we needed to do. It was live, and honestly, I was on bullshit.
Yeah, he said it.
Whatever he was gonna do was gonna dictate the night, because I knew I was going in there on a mission to establish how I feel.
Yeah.
Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Jeezy and Gucci, they have a very turbulent history. They had beef growing up in Atlanta, coming up in Atlanta, and people died because of that beef. And Gucci Mane and Jeezy, before that verses, nobody really knew what their relationship was. They didn't really know, but it was a moment, so they did it for Atlanta. And Gucci Mane said, yo, I'm going in there and I'm pretty much going to challenge him as a man, his ego, and see how he reacts. I'm going in there, I'm playing the diss songs, I'm dissing his dead homies because, there was lives lost on both sides, on my side, and this is what we're going to do. And so in that moment, it made me realize, like, okay, there is room for growth. You know what I'm saying? And Gucci saying, when Jeezy didn't give me the same energy and he moved like an adult and say, you know what? Instead of going and matching your energy, I'm going to take a different approach because I want us to be on a different frequency. It says a lot.
Proof that it does pay to be the bigger person.
At times. Because I'm ready to be the little person.
No, don't be the little nigga.
I'm going to be the little.
Be the big man.
I'm going to be the little man.
Don't be the little man.
Because these motherfuckers be playing. I can't wait to be little man.
Nah.
You seen Little Man?
I see. That was a great movie.
I'm trying to be little man
Shout out to
one day.
Wings.
Fuck the big man all the time. But in that case, I get it. I do.
Yeah, no, for real. Because imagine if Jeezy would have matched that energy. He was on the Breakfast Club talking like, yo, we was all strapped with it in there.
Yeah.
Nigga, imagine if we would have seen shots ring off on my little IG Live on my iPhone. Just watching this little verses and shit. Shit could have got critical.
Crazy.
And not for nothing, the term schizophrenia, right? Or just being a schizophrenic. With the amount of distractions, vices, and mistakes that we can make in this day and age, I think it's a term that we should probably start to normalize. It might sound a bit crazy, but I'm starting to realize, SaVon, yo, people are actually schizophrenic. But you wouldn't really know because we associate it with, all right, you would be in a mental institution, right? Or you would have 1,000 doctors, you would have a bunch of pills, you would have known since since you were born. Not necessarily true. Like, we really have schizos walking in everyday society. We just labeled it as something else. Luckily, Gucci Mane has the resources, the love, and the support as to where he could kind of fight through it. She talks about his wife, Keyshia, how his episodes might last about 14 days. I know niggas in the hood right now that can't last 14 days once they go schizophrenic. You just gonna get labeled as such. They'll throw you underneath the jail. You might get in some bullshit, right? But they don't get the same care, taken upon them. So it's tough. I'm looking at the whole term differently.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of wrap this conversation with this.
Yeah.
So I had the privilege and honor and, the ability to work at a homeless shelter right before I kind of tapped into the media space.
Yes, you've spoken a lot about this.
Yeah, my transition into media, I was actually funding my dreams through working at it's an unhoused. I don't think they
unhoused
say,
unit.
Yeah, they don't say homeless anymore.
Displaced people.
All of those things. Nigga, you homeless. I ain't gonna lie. Nigga, you ain't got a home.
That's corporate homeless.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's corporate homeless.
Yeah. When I was working there, it was called homeless. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I had the honor of working with people who were misplaced, who didn't have a home. And I would say 80% of the clients that we had or suffered from mental illness.
Yeah.
And I would honestly say one of the scariest scenarios for me was being in these homeless shelters with people who were suffering from schizophrenia specifically.
Yes.
They were speaking to themselves, talking to themselves, disconnected from their families. Their families felt like, yo, this is the best place for you because, one, you're not behind bars, but yet you're still in the institution of, whatever.
Yes.
That framework of having a mental illness. And it was really scary and it was really tough. And, they do hear voices. They do talk to themselves. I don't know the level in which Gucci Mane has been, experiencing these things, these symptoms, but it's real.
Yeah.
And it goes untreated and it's not as, overt as autism, right? It's not as overt as somebody who deals with cerebral palsy, right? People who have physical ailments of, clearly you can look at them and say something is not right and they need treatment and they need care. Compared to a schizophrenia,
right,
where they could operate and act as normal, but when they get in those spaces of not being able to function, it's scary.
I agree.
It's scary, bro.
I agree. And you speak about working in the shelters. I think a lot of those people are being mischaracterized as just homeless people. You know what I mean? Oh, he's just homeless. No, there's more to it, right? And again, I just wish there was someone for all of these people. But I'm looking at the terms differently, man. He's a functioning schizophrenic. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And it also gets worse. It also progresses as you get older, right? Like these are things that they don't necessarily get better as you age. They actually get worse.
It heightens it.
And so because he was able to have success when he was younger, he's able to get the right care and treatment today. But think about all the people who don't have those luxuries. They're at Times Square and you're looking at them and you're judging them and they're at, you know what I'm saying?
He's homeless.
Downtown Los Angeles, and you're looking at them and you're thinking, oh, these people are terrible or whatever the case may be. You're judging them because you're not really understanding. They're going through battles that we can't even understand. Like a lot of people that go without homes really suffer from mental illness, because anybody who, and we all know life circumstance kind of changes everything. But again, I worked in this field, so I got to see it up close. I'm not just judging based off what I've seen. I've worked and I've lived in it. And most people who do not have homes, most people who cannot provide for themselves suffer from mental illness.
Starts to lead you there.
And it's not that they don't want treatment. They can't get treatment. A lot of these people, because, and this is a deeper conversation, but sex is one of the easiest things to act on because it's instinctual. Yeah. You see somebody sees you, maybe they don't really understand your mental health. How many times have you had sex with somebody and asked them about their mental health history or their family's pre-diagnosis?
Yeah, they be one of the crazy ones. Oh, I like it when she crazy.
We ain't got we don't know.
Okay.
And now you're fucking on somebody who got 19 generations of schizophrenia. And you was just like, yo, what's going on? Right. You have no idea, right? And so a lot of these times, these people get placed in these situations and they're having sex and they're having children and they're procreating and they don't even know because they don't have the resources or education to even know what's the fuck is going wrong? What is going on with me? Yeah. Right? And so I think there's a greater conversation there. Shout out to Gucci, man. Again, I don't fuck with his music. I don't listen to that shit.
He's got some classics.
I'm not saying he don't, but every time I hear that, I'll be like, yo, what the fuck is this? I don't care. But I respect his influence. I respect him as a man. I respect how he's been able to say, yo, this is something I'm struggling with, because I don't think I've ever heard somebody, especially at his magnitude, say, I am battling schizophrenia. Not saying I have a mental health crisis, which is very broad. And very general, which is easy to kind of skate behind. For you to sit here and say, yo, I'm experiencing hearing voices, not because of the drugs. It sounds cool when you hear voices because of the drugs. No, that sounds hard.
He said it was the lean and the drugs. That's what he said. That led him there.
It led him there, but now he's in a sober state of mind, still talking about, I hear voices and I'm going through this. And he's allowing his wife to say, yo, when he's going through an episode, like they're using terminology that says he has some shit to work through. And I want to salute that.
Nah, me too.
I want to salute that.
Shout out to that wonderful couple. I hope the best for them. I hope he continues to grow.
For sure. And I hope it inspires a few people, if at the very least, to be like, you know what? Maybe I need to go see about something, or maybe I need to ask questions, or maybe I'm going to encourage people to use ChatGPT. Talk to ChatGPT. Let ChatGPT be a form of therapy. I'm not going to say rely on it completely, because I feel like there's a human connectivity that we need. But let it be a tool to kind of guide you on, be like, yo, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through, and maybe it could guide you in the right direction. But I think it starts with humans. And with that being said, Gucci Mane is a very influential human, especially in our community.
Trap community, hip hop.
Exactly.
Yeah, that means a lot. Like, it's one thing to constantly hear mental health information and advice from a Charlemagne the God, right? But to hear it from somebody who was so into the streets, who was so highly respected in the streets, who had a bunch of people signed, Soulja Boy, the Migos, Nicki Minaj, Waka Flocka Flame, to have that amount of information, history, to hear it from that person, it's like, all right, you know what? Like you said, I hope it really does urge people to go get checked out.